Assalamu alaikum. Nice to meet you. Can you introduce yourself?
Walaikum assalam, brothers and sisters. My name is Gani, originally from Kazakhstan. Been an immigrant in this amazing country for the past 10 years. As typical, very boring immigrant, started from the bottom, still not far from the bottom, and working my heart as hard as possible to get to the top. So that's who I am.
Okay, so like building wealth is a stepping stone. You could like not always be there. Like there's always the end goal. What's your end goal?
The journey, right? The journey is so far. Wow. The goal is, I guess, it's reach financial independence, financial freedom, and then just give it back to the society.
Yeah.
That's what I think is.
But what is financial freedom to you? That's the question.
Financial freedom in terms of numbers, probably around 50,000 per month. I think, the passive. But that what I include my families, everyone.
Oh, okay.
It's not if me only. For me, like 5,000 if passive. For me personally, is well enough.
Yeah.
But because I want to cover all our family, our fathers, sisters, everyone. So I think it's that the month. I want to support them.
Yeah. Central Asian mindset is like the family included.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like for Americans and other people, they're like, oh, it's mine.
Yeah. That's it.
I like that mentality. It's like our family, because I have a similar mentality, but my mentality is like work-wise.
Yeah, I mean it's good, But my mentality is a little different. On the way to that goal, on the journey, I usually don't help my family and I told them, my family members. It's probably is not right mindset when your family members, your relatives, when you're just starting your journey, they keep asking from you. I think it's not right, and I think it's not right for you to give them on your beginning journey. When you have strong foundation, when you don't feel when you give, that doesn't affect you in a negative way, then it's time to give. But before, I don't think it's right.
It's a setback.
Exactly, Otherwise, in this case, you can't help yourself, you can't completely satisfy them, and it will drag you down, you will be angry, you won't achieve anything. I think it's not good. So unfortunately, people from Central Asia, parents, relatives, whenever you move to US, they think you are making millions and they keep asking you watches, whatever, this, that, send me 500, send me 1,000. I think it's very, very not right. I think it's very bad mentality in my opinion. You shouldn't do that. It's not the right thing to do in my opinion.
I agree.
The same with the children. Unfortunately in Central Asia, I'm not saying all, but some parents, maybe most, they think if you are their son or whatever daughter, you have to provide them. I think it's not right mentality. When you bring child to this world, you're not bringing them to use them in any way. You're bringing them because it's your love, it's your wishes, but that's it. You raise them, then it's time for them to live and create their own life. You don't have to affect them in any negative way. They are not your workers, they are not your passive investment, It's not like this, it shouldn't be like that. But if they raised well, once they are strong on their foundation, they will give you without you asking them and telling them, they will give you back.
Yeah, of course. Of course, I'm like when I was a kid, my parents used to say, and when you grow up, you're gonna have like free labor. Free labor, nah. And it's more of a headache than anything else.
Exactly. Or because when you came to this world, I don't think they are. You came to this world as a individual. You're independent. You soul. They just became your father and mother. Just because of some situation. They didn't earn it. I mean, they can't create you on a lab. They can't. You just came as a God's wish. So you're independent. You just became in this role, in this body, with the God's wishes. Your parents didn't make you. They didn't make this body. They didn't make this soul.
They didn't. I don't know about body.
I mean, the body. But I'm saying it's like you're an independent entity. And that's just because you
after
became
birth,
their child of their parents. It doesn't mean you have to, I hope people will understand me correctly, because some people will say, oh, he's not raised well, he's bad guy, he's that.
No,
you know, it should be like, I'm just saying, you know, we are independent, we have our own path, and our parents shouldn't us affect in any negative way. Because sometimes they want to give us something that they didn't achieve themselves, or sometimes they have their, I don't know, childhood traumas, whatever, they want to put it to us. Even they might even not understand that, but that actually can harm, and we're bearing their problems in our shoulder and our hearts, and it shouldn't be like this. We should be free from that. You know, so they have to, the parents, very, you know, give us space to grow as individuals. That's what I think, you know.
It's a lot of Central Asians are not like that, though.
They're
not like that. They're like, I guess it's the Eastern culture. I think Japanese people are similar too. But probably less.
Hey, Japanese. My wife, she's half Japanese, so
no way.
She's half Japanese, half Korean.
Wow.
She born here, you know. She's a New Jersey girl. Yeah, so it's different cultures. It's Korean ones. I usually swear a lot, you know, but because we're on the go, I can't swear. But I swear in a nice way, in a joking way. So Koreans are really tough, you know, tough people. Like society, I think is very controlling, very like. Japanese are more chill people.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. After dealing with the Koreans, they have strong hierarchy. If you are like youngest or you're bottom, you every time have to say yes to your boss, whatever. Kind of like in Central Asia, many parts.
We have like huge.
Korea is very, you know, the Japanese more nicer. I think more chill, in my opinion.
In your opinion,
you know?
Okay. Because I thought both of them were like similar wise.
No, Japanese, I think more chill people.
I guess after World War II, they got become more chill.
So.
No, but essentially it's still hierarchy. Like when you get on the bus, you got to get up, man.
So it's
if you refuse, you're gonna be online, and then you're gonna get from the TV, start apologizing to people. Now let's talk about investing and like entrepreneurship, because that's what you are. You do real estate, right?
Yeah, I do real estate.
How did you get started in that?
So with the real estate, it's interesting. You know, I think I was from childhood. I like to grow something in any way. If I like something to preserve, and I like something when it grows and it's get better. Doesn't matter what exactly. It could be money, not money, anything. I had that feeling when I was a kid. It was just exciting. And I remember when I was a child, I used to do what is it? I don't know in English when you do Quran. You know, when I was kid, because I was citation kind of like this, and the older people give you money, so I've saved that money, and then because I study Arabic and Islam when I was kid, partially, you know. So then when I get that money, I used to take that money and give to some relatives, my mom, maybe some uncle, with a interest on that. So that how I was doing little money. Then I remember when I was helping to my grandma in a village, I used to sell apple because she had a lot of apple trees. So I will take the apple from the ground. I will go to the nearby merchants and I will sell them. And from that, so what I remember when I was 14, so I took all that apples, I cleaned them, they look nice and shiny. I took the nice one, I put on the top, then I go to the merchants, then I go to one, then I go to second, third. And when they say like for one bucket, they will give me like 120 tenge, let's say, I don't know, $2. Then I'll go to another one and I go to another and I say, oh, the first one, he told me they're gonna give me $3, even though they told me $2, but I will lie, I will say they told me they're gonna give $3. And then this guy say, okay, I will give you $3.50. So I will sell to this guy and I will make more money than, you know. So from that money, I used to buy chicks. I raised the chicks during the, you know. So that's, I had that entrepreneurial skills from childhood, you know. I'm not a big guy like, you know, Bill Gates, and I was every time small guy, but that's what I had. And
that's awesome.
You know, when you
you had the mentality of entrepreneurship, of like,
think so,
recognizing opportunity.
I would say, partially, yeah. The only thing I think I was every time thinking too little, in my opinion. I was You know, if you want to grow, if you want to become big, you have to think big. That's, I think, I was very lack of when I didn't think big, very ambitious in terms of making money. So you have to have some huge, big vision and then try to make it happen. That's what you should have. Is one of the things for entrepreneurs, in my opinion, in order to grow fast. Second, I think is also do not think too much, do not analyze too much, just go and start. I think there's two things that very important if you want to succeed.
You think so? Because I feel it was the opposite. Like, big vision is important. It's very important. But I think you should like think small steps in order to achieve big things. Because, for example, you could be very successful in like, you know, thinking big, but you might not know how to do a lot of the stuff, you know?
Yeah, you don't need to do a lot of stuff. You just hire people who know how to do it. That's it.
But you need money for that.
Everything's money, brother.
Yeah.
But if you hire, there is a book. I didn't read it, but I heard the general idea of that. The book calls not how, but who. Meaning you don't need to learn yourself how to do certain things, CRM, website, whatever. You could just hire someone professional who has been working in that industry maybe for years.
Yeah.
So you might learn yourself from YouTube and you might do it in a not bad, okay way, but you spend so many hours to do that, you know, while you could pay, let's say, 200-300, let's say, from Fiverr or whatever, and you get, you know, pretty decent website, and you can get it maybe in 1-2 days. You know, it's you saving a lot of time learning. I have one friend, he's like learning accounting just because he wants to do for himself. And I told him that, in my opinion, that's a dumb idea. Why? Because he will spend so many hours, you will spend so much money to learn for yourself, and then you still will be behind of the actual CPA accountant who has like 10, 15, 20 years experience. You can't get it that in like, I don't know, in 1 year. You can't, especially you only do for yourself. Accountant is numbers. They do like 400,000 people. They have different, you know, scenarios, so they're more skillful than you. Yeah. So what? Just pay man $300 for accountant every year.
Is he going to college? What is he doing?
He said he has over like 10 certificates, whatever. I think it's dumb, in my opinion. You know, just pay to account. I paid $350 to account.
$350 like for 50 years. Exactly. Not a lot.
Exactly. I don't need that study that, you know, for years. That's shit. What's the point? You know,
that makes sense.
The same with the cars. If you want to fix certain, maybe some small thing, but imagine if you want to fix something big.
Engine.
It's stupid. Yeah, just go and pay. There are professionals who done that, and they will be probably doing much safer. They have all, you know, techniques, whatever experience. They will do it much safer for you. You might do it from YouTube, but then who knows? Maybe because you don't have much experience and skills, maybe you didn't do something right, and you can have some car accident.
That's my problem. Yeah. That's my biggest problem. Exactly. I'm like, I'm gonna do myself.
No, don't do it. It's a mindset of scarcity. When you think cheaply, I also had the same vision. When you want to save, you want to learn, and blah blah blah, but you're not gonna grow. You know, you're not gonna. You have to have bigger vision, bigger plan. Just give people who done it 100 times, 1,000 times. They have track record. Just give them. It's okay to pay. It's okay. You save time. Money is much more. In long term, you win more than if you do yourself.
So even at the start, like right now, I'm starting right now. I don't have much capital. So would that make sense for me to hire people or do it myself? So that's
depends.
Depends on what like.
Depends what you're gonna do, how you're gonna do. All depends. It's hard to say. It's case by case. I would personally first. I would focus, well, for example, in Kazakhstan, when I was back in Kazakhstan, when I was 22, I opened a business. I was sending people to work abroad, many English speakers, like in hospitality industry, Midwest in Middle East, and then some people to study English as well. So what I did, I had really sucks website, which I did myself. Even that time, I remember I spent so much time, and YouTube back in the day wasn't that sophisticated. There weren't. I did it on WordPress, so I used some template, but it took me so many hours just to understand. I had zero idea about, you know, IT, etc. It took me so much stress. It's so hard. You know, you do it and it still sucks. It sucks. It looked horrible. But the main thing what I doing that business, I understand. Number one is sales. You have to be good at sales. to do sales, it's all about talking to people, you know, and etc. It's just, you gotta be, if you're good sales, probably your business will succeed, probably, because in the end of the day, business, it all comes to sales.
Yeah.
You have to sell either your product, your idea, service, vision, whatever, solving some problems. You have to sell something. If you can't sell it, it doesn't matter. You have website, you don't have whatever, design, doesn't matter. Number one is sales, you know. So that's it. I think if you're good at sales, maybe you have some okay website, but if you know who and how to talk, how to sell, I think you can. So, and then that website, etc., when you get from sales money, you can just pay two people, they will make it nicer. Yeah. It's on the way, you know.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Like, sales is the key point. Like, at the end of the day, the money's coming through sales.
Exactly, yeah.
Makes
sales.
Sense.
Whenever you had money, you can spend more on advertisement, you can spend more on making your website better, you can hire more people, talented, etc., etc. It's all about sales.
So your main specialty is sales right now, right?
Yeah, in any way you have to sell, you know, in real estate, everything.
So what makes a good salesman?
That's a good question. I'm still learning about sales, brother. I'm still learning about sales.
I mean, there's always learning to everything. It never finishes.
Exactly.
You know about like the 10,000 hours?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that I'm so good at sales. I came to real estate as an agent last year, and I see like people who like making a lot of money, they're really good at sales, and they know about the shit that they're talking about. Versus me, I came last year as an agent, but before I had different business, and I still have. I have ATM business. I have a sublease business I've been doing almost a decade in New York.
You have what kind of business?
ATM business.
You told me.
So, and then beside that, what else? I also started investing in multifamily properties. So I buy myself and I just rent the space. But as a real estate agent, what I like here, you are 100% independent. You don't do calls, you don't meet people, you don't sell, you don't get money. No one gonna give you. There's no any like base rent, there is no salary. So you have to learn a lot. You know, it's sometimes overwhelming. So that is the reason, like 80% of real estate agents, they don't make money. Yeah, if you will look to the statistics, I looked to the statistics, I think there are like only 10 or 13% of people among all agents who actually did at least one sale last year. Like only 13%. It's crazy. I might forget about I might be not correct with the numbers, but if you check, it's very little who just do one sales a year. It's crazy because majority of real estate agents, they don't make money, and that is the reason there are a lot of outflow and inflow every year. So a lot of people study real estate and they've finished, they got license, and then the first year most of them they will drop out because they can't make money. This is you have to spend. There are people who've been like in this industry like 20 years. Imagine you are fresh, you just came, and there is someone who's already been 20 years there. They have much more overall. If you will look to statistics, they have more experience, more knowledge, more connection, more audience than you. So for you will be really hard unless you really smart and you work hard. Then you can get to that point too. Make it faster. But it's still, if you just regular person with another, it's really hard to compete.
What would be the competitive age from like a young person to like someone experienced?
I think it's just working hard and working smart. By meaning smart is just probably joining some small teams, or you see if someone doing really good, provide that agent with value that you have. Your value first is time. They might be super busy, they might not have enough time. So you could say, let's say John, I'm a new real estate agent, I'm really happy, I see you done a great job, I would like to join your team, or I have a lot of time because I'm new agent, I'm eager to learn, and I just wanna to work with you, So that kind of person, let's say, have some rentals, whatever, maybe he or she doesn't have enough time to show in some days, weekends, whatever, and you go instead of them, and they will teach you. So you have to give a lot. When you are just starting, you have to give your time, you have to give your energy, whatever. And these people, they're already on the top compared with you. They're giving you their knowledge and experience, and you have to give your time and energy. That's how you can make that distance shorter and shorter, because you will learn more from them. and they also give you some deals.
There's a phrase like the school didn't teach you everything. It makes sense. And probably their networks is gonna come in big.
They will connect you a little bit. They're not gonna give you right away. So they will test you. They will say, oh, this guy actually serious. He's responsible. He will say he will come at 11. He will show up at 11. He talked nicely with my clients and said he makes sales. I know he doesn't have experience, so I'm happy to teach him because I know he will be part of my team. So they have also interest and you have interest. So if it aligns and you can solve each other's problem, you're solving that person's problem because that person doesn't have enough time, and they're solving your problem because you don't have enough knowledge and experience, and that's how you grow together.
Also, they'll probably test the character of the person, how they.
So
it makes sense. 100% makes sense because, for example, let's say in maybe 10 or to 15 years. Someone will come to you and be like, I'll work for you. And like you can't just be like, oh, here's my contact. You're just gonna be like, okay, you could work for me. You could just do this. Like you're giving small steps. Like go check out this house, for example. Look at the property. Is there like anything wrong with it?
You have to earn it, Just like me or anyone who's starting in any type of business, whatever, you have to earn it. No one has to give you anything. Tomorrow someone will come, I'm from Uzbekistan, we are brother, I'm Muslim. Please, it doesn't work like this. You starting like everyone else. You start from hard work, and if I see potential, if I see you working hard, then you have to earn it. You can't just because you're my brother, sister, or Muslims, whatever. It doesn't work like this. You have to earn. It should be fair, for everyone. No matter what is your background.
I know a lot of people like that. They come to you like, oh, we're brothers, come on. Oh, I fell for that a couple times.
I don't think it's good, You got to earn, No one gonna give you just because
like,
who you are.
So far in like your journey, what has been like a biggest hurdle? Like what's like one of the most challenging?
Number one is myself to myself.
What do you mean by that?
I think I'm number one enemy to myself in many cases. When take responsibility, working hard, working smart, being serious in business, relationship, everything is number one enemy is myself. I'm to myself the biggest hurdle. And it's really hard to control yourself. It's really hard, take some goal and just keep following it without stopping. Taking extra nap, being lazy, not be responsive, etc., and not pushing you as hard enough,
Yeah, where the way I could overcome that is like a partner, like a partner that's gonna hold you accountable. Because I went like a year ago, I was like, I'm gonna go to gym every day. I went for like good 2 to 3 months, and afterwards I was like, there's no return. So I was like, forget about this. Same mentality. You know the goal. For example, have you read the book The Richest Man on Babylon?
Yes.
It talks about saving that 10%. We know the math. We know everything. It's just hard to follow that through. You're like, oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I have bills coming up. Oh, I gotta save this. It's like very hard. Very hard. I guess at the end of the day we're humans, but like, give me an example of what's like one thing that stopped you from doing something.
It's not acting.
Not acting.
Not acting. 1. 2 is not being focused, and 3 is not being systematic. That's I think number 3 things that I would say in myself. So I could give you example. I had I think it's like 2017 2017. I had a friend of mine. We were together working as a rickshaw in New York, in Manhattan.
You working as a
rickshaw?
What?
Rickshaw, pedicab. There's
exactly. Wow. Okay.
So we were working together. He was good sales guy, because you gotta sell. Every time you gotta sell something to make money. And I also was good at sales, So one day he told me he wants to open a moving company. He didn't know how to open, no any information about license, all this type, etc. He told me, I said, okay, let's maybe try together. So we kind of agreed together. So we said, when we have let's take some day off and work to some moving company so we can get inside information and experience. So I worked one day. I really didn't like moving. I thought it's too much, consumes your, physical energy. It also might be negative to your health if you do a lot and for long term. But number 1, I would say, what scared me moving business is when I type on Google moving company in New York, and I've seen like 3,500 companies. I was thinking that's too many of them, you know.
Yeah.
Entry point to moving company, moving business is very easy. I mean, when immigrants come, guys, many of them start moving because it's just easy to start. You know, you rent out U-Haul, whatever you do online or whatever, and that's it. It's easy to start business. The same with the cleaning. A lot of immigrant ladies, they start cleaning business. They work for someone, they learn a little bit on TaskRabbit, whatever, they open their own cleaning business because entry is very easy. You don't have much to know things. There are not much, hurdles. It's easy to enter. So that is, I was thinking, moving probably is not good business. Too easy to get in, and so many. So I said no. But he kept doing it. After 5 years, he has like 50 trucks.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy, exactly.
His name is his company Seco or something?
Exactly.
Yeah, I met him.
He's a nice guy,
Yeah,
so you see, he did it. Versus I started like hostel business, which was very tiny. Every time it was very tiny, very limited. But his business is exploded, and he got, I don't know right now how many he has, how much, 13 million, whatever. So, and I don't have that much money, and I'm like, shit. So that's number one, I think, is taking action, because in your life, you probably will get few chances in your life that has huge potential. And if you don't take it, that's it, it's gone. Someone else will take it, someone else will make it, but you will not make it because you're too much scared. Competition, whatever, responsibility, accountability, I don't know, any kind of risk, and that's it, you didn't take it. And your time will be past, and then it's gone. And then one day you will look back and you will say, oh shit, I should have taken that, but it's too late.
Now I know what you mean by Bill's advice, taking action. I think one of the important things is consistency too. I think he was more consistent than you. Exactly,
that is the reason I told you. First is, for me, it's action, taking action. Second is focusing, and third is consistency. Being systematic. Then you keep doing.
Then I have a similar problem as you then. Like, I get interested in something, I do it, I get very good at it. I was like, let me stop it now. For example, I used to do music. I was very good. I was getting people asking me, be like, yo, come make beats for me. I used to go, they used to like smoke weed, marijuana. I was like, I don't want to be here. And I stopped. And after I did the junk removal with my friend, we were getting clients, but the cost was too high for me. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna move on. Right now, I moved on. He was doing very well, but stuff happened, but he's still doing it right now.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think if you start something, you should bring it till the end. Like when you really bring to the end, like you clearly see that business is not for you. Like you done 100%, 110, squeezed out everything from you. You didn't sleep enough. You didn't, it took a few years you spend on that business and you see there is nothing. So maybe that time you can look to something new. But before that time, I think you shouldn't quit, in my opinion.
I probably quit too early.
Otherwise you will be keep quitting from one place, then you start second, you will quit it too, and then every time will be like this, and you will end up in some interesting place.
Yeah. I agree. What do you call it? So with the music, I was very good. I was getting clients. I was, people coming up to me, but it's just like I had sleepless nights. So the job was super easy. You just go home, you just play the piano, you just make the beats, and they like it. It's like it's super easy, but not the right environment.
I know. That's
not the right environment. We're Central Asians. Like, if you see marijuana, if somebody smells on you, like, don't. We don't like this guy. Don't give your daughter to him or something like that. It's like he's a marijuana guy.
Some marijuana guys could be much nicer than some guys who don't do marijuana.
Of course.
But health-wise, I agree. But overall, in my opinion, because we have a lot of ideas in our head that given by society, our culture, I think it's sometimes too much, sometimes it's not correct, sometimes it's outdated. So you have to be really, really careful.
Of course.
I was thinking few few nights ago, I was listening podcast with Lex Friedman. There was one guy, historian guy, he was talking about socialism. He's historian guy, so he was talking about 20th century. And he also he was talking about nihilism,
okay.
about all this. And like back in 2015, I was reading Nietzsche's book,
Okay.
Thus Spoke Zarathustra. I think I read a few times because I didn't get first time.
Okay.
But then I was thinking, it's actually society and our parents, they give us some ideas, some like what is the view, how you see the world from your culture or from your parents, and most of the time is wrong. It's not your views, it's not your values. So you have to, I think when you start growing as an individual, you have to, scrap it off all from your culture, from your parents, from your religion, etc., and just feel that you are naked as a person,
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to choose your own values, not that given by society, parents. I think it's many times it's not good for you, That is sometimes. I have one friend. It's funny. He's trying to, he has some relationship with one girl, but he is not making it happen to wedding, And I personally think problem is because he's thinking from the views and values of his people, of his culture, and that is giving him some false, views, and that is the reason he can't make wedding with that girl. She's a nice person, for example, but he can't marry because he has too many, views from his cultural point, and that it's not good. 21st century is different. You have to not follow your values, etc., your parents and family, whatever, just because you're born in that culture. You could born anywhere. You could born, you could be adopted by gay couple, for example, You could be born in Africa. You could born anywhere. You could be born disabled. It doesn't matter. You have to choose your own value. What do you think? This is mine, that my heart, deeply, I stand for this. Not just because my culture, whatever. That's what I think, So that's very, very important in my opinion.
I had a similar idea of you. I think there was like a philosopher that denied everything. I'm not sure what his name. I think he was from Netherlands. He denied everything, and then he was like, you know what? I'm gonna prove everything until I believe it. This, I think, similar idea. Basically, you refresh your values to see what the world is. But as you said, like the parents were wrong, their values. I don't think their people's views are wrong, but rather changed. That's what I believe. Because, a lot of things change in life. For example, in the 80s, New York was like a terrible place. If they say something, don't go to this neighborhood, this is bad, it might have been true back then, but today, it's like, it's a very nice place. So it will change. Everything changes in the world. That's what I believe.
I agree. I agree. I'm not saying that the parents necessarily they have wrong ideas, but in many cases, it's just either outdated. Some, maybe not all what they say, some what they say could be wrong for you, so that is the reason you have to be really, really careful. You should listen to them, but you shouldn't exactly follow what they say. It's
independent mindset.
It could be, you could harm yourself, Maybe let's say you're a talented singer and your parents say, hey, come on, what this sing? Are you crazy? Go study law, etc. But it's natural talent. Maybe if you will follow your natural talent, maybe first year will be really hard for you because artists usually don't make much money. But then after 5 years, maybe you will explode as a superstar, super singer. You never know. Just because you followed your path, it's your. But parents, they don't see it, and most of the time they don't even care what you feel or what you want. I don't think it's right. Parents has to give a path independent to their children. If they do mistake, if they choose wrong, path, they should learn from that. You shouldn't just.
I like when I was a kid, I wanted to become like a soccer player so bad. They were like, no, you're not going to become a soccer player. You're going to break your leg. You're going to do this. I was like, okay, whatever.
That's not right. That's not right.
Right now, I think the mentality has changed about soccer players because, Uzbekistan, some guy went to Man City. He's like making a lot of money. They're like, oh, he's making a lot of money. Okay, you're going to become a soccer player now. It's just a similar mentality because I think it's the lack of, I think it's more of ignorance than anything else. Being ignorant, because you know they don't know. They're just, you know, for example, they think lawyer and doctor and other things are just gonna make you money, but you know they pay a lot of taxes.
Exactly.
A couple of days ago, I had like a heart surgeon in my. When I was doing taxi, he was like, "Oh, I have no car, I have no house." I'm like, "You have no house?" And he has been doing it for 17 years.
Oh, okay.
And he is still paying his student debt
Really?
off. Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah. That's
17
tough.
years.
I agree, man. That's tough. It's tough.
And he studied for like 10 years and we've been working for 17 years.
Yeah. It's W-2 jobs, you know, they very hardly taxed by the government, usually W-2s. It's they charge you a lot. That is the reason you have to become try to invest, you know, open some side hustle business and just keep reinvesting. It's crazy.
Yeah, W2 you can write off expenses.
Yeah.
For businesses, you can do that. That's
so there are some, you know, ways. I think if you get some good CPA and structure everything, you can even invest something, and you can get with different apartment buildings. When you invest, there are many ways. You do cost segregation study. You can show on a paper loss. Legally, you know, IRS allows you. There is many ways how you can, you know. Okay. So, like in general, if we're talking about investing, I would say probably number one is be frugal, in my opinion.
Be frugal.
Yeah, just be frugal, meaning live below your means, which meaning you shouldn't do something that will hurt you, your health. Like I know some people who says, "Oh, I want to be frugal," and they eat shitty food, like really junk food, just because it's cheap. But that is stupid. That will cost you in long term much more than if you eat healthy now. It's okay if it's a little expensive, but in long term, you know, it will be much more beneficial and cheaper for you than in future you will pay for all this health bill, whatever, you know. So be frugal, but it shouldn't hurt your health. So yeah, health is number one. Mental, physical health, but be frugal. When I say frugal, I mean don't buy coffee outside. Starbucks is very expensive, for example. A lot of people keep buying. I was watching on Netflix, there is one guy, I think he's Pakistani or, nice guy. He was talking about like people's like financial decision. Any guy, he took them and he analyzed their bank statement. And there was one guy, he spends like, I forgot, like $700 a month for coffees. It's crazy. And he has a lot of debt. He's like, he also spends a lot of money on TJ Maxx. He buys a lot of like trendy, you know, cheap clothes, but he buys he's very consumer guy, you know. It shouldn't be. So for me, when I say frugal, it means don't buy things that you really don't need it, and don't follow trends. The trends, consuming mentality is really, really bad. It will hurt you. And also, you know, when I read Nietzsche, what I liked, the idea when you are trying to be independent from many trends. Either it could be some anything among the people, like some food type, drinks, I don't know, people buy watches, cars, whatever. I want to be independent from that mindset because I don't want to it corrupts me, and I don't want it controls me. That is, I'm trying to be super simple guy, you know. So I would say that's number one. If you can be frugal, is good. Number two is whatever you have, even little money, just keep reinvesting. There are so many platforms that do auto investments, so you don't need even check, you don't need even worry. That's it. I have, for example, Stash. They charge you $3 a month. They do everything automatically. I also have a platform on Acorn. They also buy like stocks, ETFs, etc. It's like also they charge $3. I use different platforms.
Oh, do they invest in like index funds? Would they invest in?
Usually, yeah. It depends. For example, on Stash, you can choose single stocks. You can choose ETF. I have both. On Acorns, it's usually like they have a portfolio where they invest like 70% is like stocks, 30% bonds, etc. So it depends every platform. Vanguard is also good. Even like $100 a month, just keep putting on auto payment. That's it. You don't need worry. You don't need every, like as you said, 10%, put it aside. You don't need to just press one time and that's it. You will forget. And
but you think that's like,
it's good.
Personally, I like my mentality is investing. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna make you rich.
It's not gonna make you rich for now.
Yeah.
For now, it's not gonna make you rich if you start with $100.
I mean, even for like for 40 years, let's say, you might make $1 million in the notes. But in the reality, the inflation is just gonna make that like almost a similar money amount that you invested.
Exactly. That is reason you have to invest a lot. If you wanna get bigger number and faster, you have to invest a lot. I mean, it's $100. I'm just saying to people who just starting, maybe immigrants, young people, just put $100. It's already big step towards big, steps. So you're doing
$100 a week or a month.
First, you can start a month.
Month is.
It all depends on your income. I don't know. Everyone is different. First, start with $100. You feel like, oh, you have extra. Put more and more, etc. How I started investing in all these online platforms. My friend with whom we had together business hostel in New York, he was drinking every time Starbucks coffee, and he obsessed, and he put me on that needle, with he's keep drinking, then he every time say when we meet, let's go to Starbucks. So I also started going, and then I was saying, oh shit, it's like $275 every time they charge me Starbucks, and then I see the big numbers in the bank statement. I said, no, I'm not gonna drink anymore. So what I did instead, I put to myself idea whenever I want to drink Starbucks coffee, instead of buying it, I would just invest on its stocks. That's it. That's how I start. So every time I just invest Starbucks stocks when I wanted to drink Starbucks, and then I started drinking, and just keep. That's how I started. And then I agree. If you put little money on the side, over time, for sure it will give you a lot of outcome because it's compounding. But in the short term, you're not gonna become rich. So in order to become rich, in my opinion, you have to have some active business.
Yeah, that's where I was going. That's where I was going.
You gotta have active business, and from active business, you have to suck up money and just put it on investment. Different type of investment. There are a lot of investment you can do in, for example, let's say in real estate. You can do in any other things. Just it's very, very simple idea. When you get some money, just buy some assets that will make you more money, and that assets, that investment ultimately has to replace whatever your active business. Let's say your active business give you $10,000, but you spend, I don't know, maybe 80 hours a week. So you have to take all that profit that you can make, and then keep investing in somewhere, in some assets, and that assets will accumulate, and one day they will be able, with their passive income, replace your active business income. That's it. You don't need any more work, and you have a passive. That's how you do. It's very, very, in my opinion. So it's very easy. Just be frugal, live below your means, but it shouldn't hurt yourself. Sometimes, if you want to travel, spend for travel. It shouldn't be like, oh no, I'm not gonna do. I'm like 100%. You shouldn't be 100% hardcore on yourself. We're humans. Sometimes you wanna dine out. It's okay, but just be very, very careful. Don't follow trends. It's all bullshit. Don't buy cars, brand, whatever. It's all BS. That's it. And then keep reinvesting. Do like this portfolio, online stocks and ETFs at the beginning. Later, when you get more money from your active business, do something big. When I say big, for example, me and my wife last year we joined a mastermind group. I paid like 12K, over 12K just to join that mastermind group. For me, it was like, shit, it's so expensive. But before, I remember every time when I went to some like events, business events, etc., all this people, hosts of the event, they usually sell their programs, membership, whatever. Some of them scam, some of them BS. Some of them really has some value, So I found one guy, he invests in apartment buildings, he owns over 2,000 apartments. And I listened to his podcast, Rod Cliff. You can find on podcast, is free. Just keep listening. So I've been listening his podcast maybe a year or maybe 1.5 years, and I saw tons of value that he brings a lot of people who achieve success in real estate, different assets. It could be multifamily apartment buildings, it could be storage business, it could be senior living assistant facilities, it could be warehouses, office building, whatever. Every different people has different strategy and how they exit. And when you keep listening, keep hearing, and you got so much knowledge, and you think, yeah, I want to join this guy because he knows what he's talking about, and he has a lot of people who is part of his group, mastermind group. So I paid that last year. That as I told you before about scarcity mindset, when you every time think you don't want to pay some mentor, I could watch just on YouTube, etc. But if you know there is a proven mentor who, let's say you met some people who joined his or her mentorship program and they told you that this guy or person really nice, they teach this and they have a proven success record with the people who join their mentorship group, then you shouldn't, hold your money, just give, because that can save you tons of years. And when you join that mastermind group, you have a lot of people with like-minded people who is far, far ahead of you, and just talking to them, being in the same room, it's already big win for you, not for them, for you first of all, because they are ahead of you and you can save that time. And when these people, they have some deal, they can bring you onto the deal. That's what we did. That was big mindset shift. When you're trying to save every time, you're too cheap. You shouldn't be like this. If it's good for you, for your health in long term, for your wealth, for your peace, for your relationship, you should invest. That's what I think, And in real estate, what I said, commercial space, there are a lot of ways, like you can buy multifamily apartment buildings, maybe 100 units, 50 units with other investors. And it's actually very, very easy. There are a lot of like syndication when basically a group of people, everyone puts maybe $50,000, maybe 10 people, maybe 5 people, for example, depends on the where you buy for how much. But you can easily get a big apartment building because 70% usually it will be just a loan, and you just need to come up with 25-30% of down payment with the closing fee. So it's not that big numbers, Let's say if you buy for $1 million apartment building for maybe 20 units, and you might think, oh, where are you going to find with 20 units with $1 million? It's impossible in New York. One bedroom will maybe cost $1 million. But there are actually a lot of places where you can find. In Midwest, it's like Central US, you have a lot of places where you can find for $1 million, for $700,000, you can find like 20 units, 15 units.
But will you find people for those units? That's the question. Will you find
easy,
tenants?
Easy. Easy. Yeah, easy. You can find. Yeah, everywhere is market, So it's very easy. I've seen a lot of deals. I'm analyzing, I'm learning, So there are a lot of ways to invest in commercial. Besides like apartment buildings, there are storage that you can invest. Storage gives good money. There are mobile home parks. There are RV parks, warehouses, flex, they said, different industrial buildings. So you're not taking it alone with others. And at the beginning, you should join teams who already doing it, who has proven track record. You just join them as a LP, which is limited partner. Basically, it's just passive investor. You just give your maybe 50K. Usually it's 50K starting to enter for investment deal from $50,000. So you give them $50,000. Usually in 5 years, they will double and return your money. So you will get 100K in 5 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
Depends on the deal, but it's very passive. But besides giving them $50,000, you can also ask, can I also learn? Can you also teach me? So you basically, your LP limited partner meaning you don't operate the deal.
Yeah.
You don't have anything. You can't say, oh, guys, raise rent for tenants for this building or do something. You don't have that right. You only giving your money, but you also not getting any responsibility. So if there are big problems, probably the operators, usually 5 people, they will get hurt first, So they will probably get hurt. You as an investor, you will get hurt last if they do anything wrong, But less responsibility, and you just give money, you don't work. But this people, 5 people, they usually call themselves JP, general partners. So usually JPs, they operate all this financial part, acquiring the assets and managing. They do all hard work, and they usually get the money only after they sell, after 5 years or do refinance. Then they will get their portion. But 70% of income gets to the investor and only 30% to JPs who managing. So you can start like this, and later, you can also become a JP after you get some experience.
But time is like the most valuable asset. Would it be better to start your own thing and get people?
You can do both. You can do both. Depends what your personality, depends how you feel, how you know yourself. There are some people who can't do that, who can't open. They can maybe open any active business or whatever, but they are not that responsible. They're not that serious to themselves. You know, I've seen a lot of people start business and they don't want to work their asses off, and then usually they don't succeed. This kind of people. So if you know yourself better, if you know I know myself, I work like 12 hours. I'm gonna run my blood from my nose, but I'm gonna make it. So if you know yourself that you're strong and like you're passionate about this, then do it yourself. If you know yourself, you know, I don't want to deal with that shit. I would rather just give money and that's it. You know, maybe work my W-2 or whatever and keep just from that money every time investing in some deals. As a passive investor, you can choose. Not everyone, I think, designed to do entrepreneurship. It's pretty tough, you know.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I met a lot of people they're like, oh, I don't want to do this. It's too much work. Yeah. I'd rather just work my W-2. Like I met a couple of people. They're like, they have like a lot of experience in like machine learning like that. I'm like, bro, let's start a business like that. They're like, nah, I don't want to do it. It's too much work, too much responsibility. I'm like 5 years away from like retirement with the money I'm making. Like, yes, I could make more money. Like make more money in like 2 years, but it's more headache. So it's not really worth it to me. I'm like, bro, what do you mean? Like you're gonna make more than you like in like your retirement. Like I met a guy.
Yeah, but then you also can't give them guarantee. You know, you're just saying let's open, let's do. You will make blah blah blah, but you can't give guarantee because you don't know
can't.
future.
That's the thing. But if
at least they have something stable. At least I know they can get fired, whatever, but at least they have now something that they don't need to worry. Versus you, like, oh, like in 5 years, there's no guarantee. Maybe even in 1 year, they will be feeling dead in that business. You know? So I think it's better just if you have W-2, you don't need to open business. Just do that. If you, let's say you have some nice income, savings, just give that and use it as a passive investor. So no headache. I have a guy, Turkish guy, he has, in Brooklyn, he has like 5 multifamily properties and he has warehouse. He bought 2 years ago 2 warehouse and office. I'm helping him to rent out his commercial deals here in New Jersey in Elizabeth. So what kind of problem he has? He has a problem of experience of landlord. So meaning he has 5 houses in Brooklyn, New York, multifamily, and there are, I think, 3 of them they don't pay him rent. You know, in New York is really tenant friendly. People, they might stop paying you rent, and to kick them out, it will take you so long, and you have to spend so much money on lawyers. So he has that problem. He has problem with his commercial because when he bought with the tenants, there is one tenant also almost not paying or paying very little. There is also problems. He's trying to rent out one office. There are also some issues. So being a landlord is not that easy. You will have a lot of issues with the people, with your own tenants. Some could be good, some could be shitty people. Anything can happen. So it's too much of stress, you know. So that is when I spoke with him last week. He told me, man, I wish I wouldn't be a landlord. That's his point. That's his pain. He doesn't want to be a landlord. And not everyone designed to be the landlord. I can be the landlord, I'm okay. But this guy, he can be. It's really tough because you have to deal with all constant shit. And you're so stressed. You're doing your own business, active, you have own problems. And imagine someone problems you have to also deal as a landlord. It's too much, you know. So it's not for everyone. And what I think for my friend Turkish, what will be best for him, he should just sell all that shit. He shouldn't deal with, because it's not for him being landlord, you know. And just take all that cash, whatever he can get, and just invest as a passive investor. As I said, passive investor, you don't do with the deal anything. You just give, that's it. 5 years, they will return.
But maybe he's in the wrong industry, don't you think?
No, it's not about the industry. I mean, he himself, he has moving company.
Okay.
It's enough for him. I see if moving company is enough for him, you know, it's too much, you know. And also being landlord, it's not that fun experience, you know. People on Instagram, they show blah, blah, blah. But being actual landlord is not that easy, especially when you have a lot. It drives you crazy, you know. And he himself doing a lot of things by himself. I told him, man, you could just hire property manager, give them 12%, 15% from gross. You don't need deal. But he wants to do like you, like many people. He wants to do themselves to save little money. But in the long term, they stressed, they angry. They have a lot of shit, a lot of issues, and they don't know how to deal with that because they're not professional landlords with like 20 years of history, like experience, like property manager.
Yeah.
So as I said, you shouldn't do everything that it's better to do passive. If it's not for you, just do passive. That's it.
Yeah.
Even passive, it's amazing.
It's very hard though, because you want to be frugal,
Yeah.
but you don't want to be like too cheap. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
you shouldn't do. Yeah,
It's a delicate balance
Yeah.
because you want to save money and
you know yourself. If you say, oh, I can do at least the level of professional property manager, I know I'm very dedicated, I can't stand any stress, whatever, besides I have my active business. If you know yourself and you say honestly to yourself, I can do that shit, then do it. If you say, I know I'm not that serious, just don't do it. That's it. That's what I think. And it's just
so knowing yourself is like the most important.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very hard.
There is, I think, what is it? Sun Tzu, his book Art of War.
Yeah.
I think he said, if you know your enemy, you will win like once in 10, right? But if you will know yourself, you will win 10 out of 10 times. So that's, I think, just knowing yourself, being honest. That's, I think, one of the keys. That's it. Very simple.
Because you don't want to be, in the delusion. You don't want to have the delusion mindset.
Yeah. That's bullshit. Just cheap, blah blah. It's BS.
One of my problems, I'm like I do too much analysis. I guess I think too much.
You shouldn't do too much analysis. I think too much analysis usually hurts you a lot.
You think so?
It drags so much energy, and the more you learn, the more you're confused, the more questions you have. Oh, what about this? What about this? Sometimes just if you see like a general trend, you see it's going up, just do it. In my opinion, you shouldn't have too much detail, too much numbers. Then it confuses you, stresses you. It might even stop you. It shouldn't be like this. You see general trend, you see pattern. Okay, it's good. There's like maybe 3 questions main, and you see like entry point, like trend. Okay, I see it. That's it. Just go and start.
Yeah.
If you know yourself that you are born entrepreneur, if it's not, just don't do it. Too much work, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Speaking of like your other business, the ATM, can you tell us more about that?
ATM is very simple. I don't have many ATMs, just 4. It's very passive. I just install in places like a lot of like nail salons, something like that. So the owners, they put their own money, they get it back, and I charge $3. I give them usually 50 cents, and I get $2.5 per every transaction. So it's very, very passive. ATM itself is passive. But you need buy machine.
How much are the machines?
If you want to buy new one, it's like $2,700,
and
then if you want to use someone's help to install professional, will cost you like $300. So you spend $3,000, but then to get that $3,000 will take you like maybe 3-4 years at least. ATM is very, very low margin business. Maybe you will make $80, maybe $100 a month. So it's very, very slow business. If you can make if you have a lot of them. But there are also that one I started because I watched on YouTube how people make money. I was thinking, okay, I usually back in the days, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, if I see something on YouTube, I every time want to learn about how makes money. And then if I see something, I was thinking, okay, and then I just start next day. Usually how I do. I saw on YouTube somebody was making ATM. I didn't know even how much it cost. I didn't care. Somebody was saying, oh, it's good business, blah, blah, blah. So I just found on Google who sells. I bought. Before buying, I just went in neighborhood, talking to everyone. Hey, I have ATM, blah, blah, it's free for you. That's it. I was just basically selling. So I found few people who said, okay, and I signed with them agreement. I downloaded free agreement from Google. That's it. And then I just ordered it online and sent and installed. That was very easy,
Okay.
So very, as I said, you don't need too much thinking. That was
You know
business,
the Warren
yeah.
Buffett quote,
Yeah.
count the pennies, you'll make the million, or something like that?
I don't know. Maybe I think the way how he does business is very different. He's more like investor guy. He's investor. Probably on the investment part, maybe it's more important. But I think on entrepreneurship, you shouldn't. I mean, actually with this word, he meant, in my opinion, he meant with the pennies that you have to know the numbers, and you have to numbers. How to say? He would say, like, there are a lot of people who don't care about small money, pennies. So I've seen like some people, they give big tips. I also have seen. I remember back when I was delivery guy, I saw one guy in laundromat, one white guy. He spent a lot of money on laundry machine, something extra. So he took all his clothes, and the machine is still rolling, but it's empty. So I asked him, why did you pay so much, money, and you need only like 20 minutes, for example, yeah, to dry very few clothes, but he paid like for 1 hour. So he said, it's okay. So from that, what I can see, this guy definitely not financially independent. He's not financially literate, because if he would be literate, he wouldn't just easily throw the money, even though it's small money, maybe it's $5, but here $5 there, and then you see, and you're losing a lot of money. The same with the Starbucks shit, somebody will say, it's just $2.75, come on, man, don't be so cheap, and then you drink here, there, and then it accumulates, That's what I think he meant with a penny. So you have to be careful with your own spending with the numbers,
So like, based on all the conversation we're having, you want to be frugal, but not too frugal, as in saying, like, you don't want to be into consumerism too much.
Yeah, for sure. Don't be consumer.
And then, like, you want to invest, like, spend money on investments that will bring return in, whether money, knowledge, or what else? Time.
Yeah.
Those three. Yeah, makes sense. I completely agree. But it's very hard to know which one is which. That's the thing. Because sometimes you might go to like a thing thinking it's an investment or something, and it's just complete waste of time.
For example, give me an example.
For example, let's say some mentorship program. Like, you go in the mentorship program, you spend a lot of time in it. Like, for example, let's say IT or something like that. A lot of things you might already know, but you think that they have, like, some tricks in the book or something like that. You go in, you spend like maybe 200,000, not 2,000, and then you give the money, and they're like, oh yeah, we're doing this, and then you just keep going, but it's the same thing over and over you've been doing. So it's like, you want to know your limit, basically.
On one hand, that, and the second hand, I also was thinking, even with this mentorship program, it's 99% is on you. The mentor is a person who just give you light, so you can see, like, this in this room we see everything we see because we have light, right? So that mentor is just turning on the switch. That's it. And rest to walk to get, it's on you. Nobody gonna do the same with that programs you pay. You pay for the program, but they're not gonna find you a job. They're not gonna do your pushing yourself to do interviews, etc. Being tough with yourself. It's on you.
Oh yeah, being tough with yourself.
Exactly, it's on you. So it's all hard to say. It depends. Some programs I think is scam. They're just making money, selling your BS idea. But some are really good. But you still have to work.
Yeah, no, of course. No one's gonna hold your hand and take you. Yeah, no, I agree. But like, one of the things you said is, like, you have hard time pushing yourself.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
Do you have anyone that helps you push yourself?
I don't have like any specific person, So, pushing yourself. It depends, Sometimes push a lot hard. Sometimes maybe no. So it's hard. You gotta just know yourself. Try to just be honest to yourself. Talk to yourself. Talking to yourself, and don't try escape difficult, sensitive topics to yourself. Just be honest with you. I think if you will be honest with you know your own shit, and you're honest about that shit, then you will start little by little grow.
Yeah, I have a similar problem. Like, sometimes I'm very concentrated on, like, one problem, I'm like solving it on spending like 16 hours, like, trying to figure it out. And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do this. Let me just play video games, It's very hard.
But then, I think it's, I'm better on this than you probably, because I might want something else, but because I gotta do this first. So I'm usually not that like you type, but I'm a little bit more serious in achieving certain things and doing. I think it's because maybe I kick myself when I go to sleep and I know, shit, I didn't do this, and I had to do. So I can't properly sleep. I keep thinking
oh no,
my
I have
night,
the same problem.
and then early morning, and then I start doing my shit. So I just, kick my ass a few times, and then I started doing, and I pretty, so.
Do you have like a system built out for that or no?
Man, I don't have, for that kind of system. I think is probably the guys who is much higher than me. They probably have systems and models. I'm terrible at system and models, So, but yeah, I think it's just probably one of the way is probably books and podcasts. If you listen people who already achieved, had the same issue, and they already went far behind you, from there you can get some information, useful. I think, me, I just try just setting goals. I think is good, helping, and setting deadline. I was watching on Instagram Brian Tracy. He's amazing. I saw his short videos. He's like, how to goals. If you don't have clear goal, it sounds really stupid and like it's very like basic. Like, what are you talking about goal? For sure I have goal,
Yeah.
But then you don't have like numbers. You don't have deadline. Yeah. You don't have like steps. What are you gonna do? You don't have like, I have like 10 goals. But for me, actually, most important is only 2. And one of them I have to achieve this year. And one of them I have to achieve like by the June 10th. If you have clear numbers and you put it everywhere so you can't escape, like everywhere in your room, you print out that goal, one thing, I think that's, in my opinion, is really helpful. That's very, very good. Yeah. I wrote on my phone number or on my phone what my goals, and I print out also. It's good. The more you see it, the more it's like noisy something, like
Yeah. I think it's good to print out because on your phone you just ignore it. Ignore it. It's like it blends in with the other things. I think you should have
even in your phone, maybe on your main screen, just put your goals, maybe 1 or 2. So whenever you press the phone, you see that written on your main the picture. I don't know what it calls profile picture, whatever, and print out everywhere with big. So you see it. So the more you see it, visualize and see it every time, somehow it pushes you like towards there, because if you hide and you don't see it, then you keep forgetting it about, so first I think it's just seeing it is good. So you keep seeing it everywhere. You turn here, shit, I print here, I print there. You gotta go to gym, this 3 times a week, every time, and you're more precise, then I think it helps you,
Do you know about SMART goal?
SMART goal, like achievable, like measurable. It's good. Yeah.
Do you use that or?
I'm trying. The goals that I print usually, they're SMART goals. I can achieve it. It's not something crazy that it can do. It's pretty normal, That human
right now, I have only one SMART goal: pray once a day at least.
Which one?
Pray once a day.
Pray. Okay. I think
because I've been struggling with that like for a long time.
Yeah, I think in my personal opinion, you shouldn't feel bad about it. I'm not trying to put you in a wrong direction based on your religious views, but before I used to have in Kazakhstan too, because I studied in some partially in a religious school, and I remember when I came here, and then I also felt like, how to say that I don't know, there is interesting feeling that you are not doing something that you're supposed to do, but then after a while you stop just bitching yourself about it. You said it's okay. It's you are who you are. You shouldn't feel sorry for certain things. If some of your part of your life you don't want to do certain things, just don't do it. It's okay.
Oh, it's not I don't want to do it. It's just like laziness.
Laziness. Then
It's not like I don't want to do it. It's just laziness. Procrastination.
Procrastination.
My biggest challenge is procrastination.
Yes,
probably.
man. It's not easy. It's not easy. Procrastination. I think I heard. I listen a lot of podcasts and read. I think with procrastination they say just keep doing small things, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Start small.
Yeah, and then if you do it for long term, it's like become habit, like in 21 days. Whatever.
Yeah.
Different
Oh
people
no,
say different.
I tried the 21
Yeah,
habit
yeah.
thing. It didn't work.
I know. Some stuff what people write, I think sometimes it's not working. It sounds good,
Yeah.
but sometimes it just don't work.
Same thing with the
Yeah.
gym. Like I went
Yeah.
for gym for like 3 months. It was like afterwards, like I don't want to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I'm spending 2 hours every day.
Yeah.
Like I'm not getting bigger.
Yeah.
It's like
You're probably getting bigger in a like when you like in long term, maybe after 2 years you will
Yeah.
get bigger. You probably will not see much because you see your body every day. But people who didn't see you say, oh, yo, shit, you got bigger,
Yeah.
you know. But for yourself, you don't
but
see
after
much
like
changes.
if you don't work
Yeah.
out for like another like what do you call it?
Yeah.
1 year or 2 years, all
Yeah.
that's gonna go away. So I was like, you know what? There's no point of that. I'd rather just be healthy. You know, where I do play soccer on the weekends. You know.
You know, in my opinion, you in this case you shouldn't do like 2 hours, whatever you put in your goal every day. You shouldn't do like that. I think it's probably not your natural. Maybe something is just not for you. You know. So maybe instead of 2 hours, maybe just put once a week 1 hour. That's what, for example, I do yoga usually at least once a week when if I'm in New Jersey, there is nothing, no any events. So I've been doing it like over 2 years constantly. You know, I'm not saying I go every week because some weeks on weekends I have some events, real estate, where I can go. But usually I go once a week. Usually like in 95%.
Oh, then I did that soccer for me. I have been doing that for maybe
that's good.
more than 15 years.
Yeah, you see, you're already doing something that other people don't do even this thing, you know, so it's good.
Yeah,
so
my mom tells me don't do that. I'm like, just leave me alone. Let me just.
It's good for your health.
Yeah.
Probably good for your mood.
Yeah,
it's
it's great for the mood. Like
just go.
When you're feeling down or when you're playing soccer, everything forgets.
Exactly. So do it. Once that's already a big win. You know, you shouldn't feel yourself bad just because you don't go every day for gym 2 hours. Yeah, certain things you shouldn't even worry about it.
There's like a delicate balance between investment and like
and
return
knowing yourself and what you want, you know, and you shouldn't beat yourself like, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you know. But you know.
But tell me more about like Kazakhstan and your life before coming to America.
Kazakhstan. What exactly? I mean,
what city were you from?
I was born in Almaty region.
Okay,
you know,
Almaty.
I'm born in a little village. My father, he was doctor.
Oh wow.
He born and lived in Almaty, and then during Soviet Union when he got his diploma, I think they had a program like the educated doctors go to a village, you know, help the village, and this is where I born. And my mom, she's from North Kazakhstan, and currently the city calls Astana. So yeah, that days it's Akmola. So she was born there. She studied in Almaty. They met, and we were born in Almaty region in a small village.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what we were born. I have brother, so the life is very interesting. You know,
interesting.
Every time the life is interesting.
When's the last time you've been there?
Maybe like 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So
are they here or no?
My mom is here. My father passed away when I was 5. You know, so what was my life? It's I've done a lot of stupid things when I was young. You know, when you're young, you think a lot about materialism, about money, fame. Sometimes even for money, you might lie to people. You know, do some stupid things. When you grow later, I mean, if you are not stupid and not bad person, then you just analyze yourself and you say, oh, I did this wrong or this wrong. You know, it's I think it's very important. Probably reading. I think reading helped. I was reading a lot of book when I was a kid. We didn't have TV. We were living poor, so instead of TV, because my father, he passed away when I was 5. It's really hard for mother to keep up with 2 kids. So we didn't have TV, and I was just reading a lot of books. All my summer, all my childhood, I used to spend in the public libraries. I used to read a lot of books, so that's helped. I think the books really changed my mindset. Otherwise, if I wouldn't read, I probably would be somewhere, maybe in a city, some having the life that most of the society go through, like probably 9 to 5, some back in Kazakhstan, etc. So many think you would think the same thing as your fellow 90% of society. You will talk, you will think, you will act probably like others. But because of books, your world will be changing. It's good. Books helped me a lot. I think two genres of books really helped me is classical books. I think it's very good.
What do you mean by classical?
Classical books, it's like classical writers, like, I don't know, there are a lot. If you take, I don't know, Pride, Prejudice, I don't know, there are many writers. I read books many in Russian, so I'm just trying to translate in English. That is just, for me, it's hard. But Victor Hugo, for example, The Man Who Loves. There are so many. I read books, also Russian classical writers. It's good. Classical books, they give you pains and perspective of people who had a different life, and you're trying to see.
What's the one book that changed your mentality a lot?
It's hard. It's really hard. It's all compounding. It's layer after layer. It's really hard to say I read only one book. That's it. One book tells you one story. The other book tells you another story. And then when you have a lot of stories, you start analyzing, thinking, and that helps you to grow. It's really hard to say just one, thing. Just
one I would say for is Rich Dad Poor Dad for me. It was very inspiring.
That book is good for me. I think I think you should put, in my opinion, more focus on classical books and philosophy. So because that they will create your personality, and they will enrich your personality. I noticed a lot of entrepreneurs, they kind of, I would say, poor in terms of general knowledge, in terms of viewing the world. Many, I'm not saying but many only know how to make money.
Yeah.
And because you only focus how to make money and only know how to make money, in many other ways you're very like a desert, you're empty, So I think that shouldn't be the case.
But I know them. I tell them they're like, well, why would I care about about David Hume or Friedrich Nietzsche or Socrates? They're like, I don't care about them. They're dead.
Yeah.
That's how they feel. So it's very hard to go against that.
Exactly. I mean, it's how to say. They just don't see the value, I guess. They don't see the value. Just because they are dead, it doesn't mean the thing that they left is value. It doesn't have any value. Take the gold. It's dead too, but it has value. It's priceless. Yeah. A lot of things is dead, but has a value. Artwork from, I don't know, Picasso, whatever, Da Vinci, they also dead. And their creatures also dead. It's not. It's just physical, but it's dead. It doesn't talk, but it has so much value.
But doesn't society give those values? For example, artwork might be valuable for someone else. Then, for example, you value artwork. That business person might not value artwork. For example, a good example was, I think it was in one of the books I read. It was like a guy went to Henry Ford. He gave pictures of the books, pictures of the pictures that he wants to sell. He was an art dealer. He was trying to sell to Ford, and the Ford was like, "Oh, thank you, gentlemen, very much for this kind book. These pictures are beautiful." And then the art dealer was like, "Aren't you gonna buy them?" He was like, "Oh, I already have these photos. Why would I need to buy the actual painting? You bought this." So it's like the same thing. Henry Ford did not see the value in getting the actual thing, but he just looked at the beautiful pictures. I think.
I guess different people different, but my personal perspective, I think is very important if you will be in some case, in some part, philosopher as a human being. There is, saying in ancient Greek philosophy that the person, what is that they said? If you're a philosopher and you become a king. I'm trying to translate. If you're a philosopher first, then you will be better for society. Let's say if you rule society, versus if you will be just as a regular king who just power hungry, who doesn't care, etc. You could be ruthless. People might be afraid of you. But if you will be, first of all, not a king, but you will be philosopher who cares, who knows that this materialism, this world is You have today maybe power, etc. Tomorrow you might have nothing, and in the end of the day you will die. And then you see bigger like perspective, you see values, etc. So in this case, probably you will be much better as a ruler if you will be first, foremost philosopher, than you will be king. That's, I think, in Central Asia we have all this dictatorship. Why? Because I think the people on the top, they really don't have some morals, they don't have some philosophical views, but what they care is about power.
Can I have a rebuttal for that?
Sure, please.
Have you met The Prince by Machiavelli? Machiavelli?
Yeah.
So I think he would disagree with that statement. He does not see he wants the people to fear in order to be better to be feared than loved. I think that's the dictatorship, the philosophy they follow. It's not necessarily the philosophy, for example, of Aristotle or anything like that.
I think it's all depends who you are, the person, what is your values, moral values, and what do you want to leave after yourself. If you want to leave after yourself, if you're, let's say, a ruler, if you want to leave after yourself broken nation, leave after yourself slavers who are afraid of anything, say anything, then it's good style to rule, if your end goal is that. But if you want to leave after yourself flourished, prosper nation, who has some values, who doesn't afraid, and a government that accountability, you can choose that way, and your work actually will be much more valuable for people. Maybe you will not be known that much as some tough, ruthless, power-hungry rulers, but you actually will do much more good for people and society. So in my opinion, it's better to choose something maybe people will not know much, and maybe after 150 years, people even will forget about you, but you build some foundation that next generation will benefit from that. So you are sacrificing you have that power, you have a choice, become ruthless and become number one, and everyone will afraid and will remember you for 100 years, or you can choose another path, less fame, but much more good for people in society. I think that's much more harder, and control your, this from hungriness. I think that's much more better.
Do you know the theory of governments and the leaders don't actually have control of that? Do you know that theory?
Depends. Yeah.
For example, Mansa Musa, he was very rich, very rich.
Yeah.
His nation was very rich because they were selling salt and stuff like that. And what do you call it? He went to Haji, who was giving out money. And after he came back, he died. But his successors were really not successful. The reason was because the economy was not good. It's not because of them. It's just the environment that were happening to. Same thing with India, the Mughals, the Aurangzeb.
Yeah.
After Shah Jahan, he made the building. No, I think it was Shah Jahan or something. His dad basically. His dad was spend all of the money in the Taj Mahal. Spend all the money on Taj Mahal, and Aurangzeb was not a bad leader, but he was there was a lot of revolts, so he had to put down a lot of revolt. But in India right now, they view him as a dictator or a bad guy. But if he was the product of his environment, he did not have the same opportunities to prove himself as a great leader as his father did. His father was in a prosperous nation. His father acquired peaceful, prosperous nation where he could build a amazing monument, but his son did not have the opportunity. So would you say that that's also a factor in being a leader? It's not them being whole, because I don't think a lot of leaders they don't want what do you call bad for their nation. They want good. They want to prove to their nation.
Depends, man. Depends. I think it's the many power-hungry leaders. They don't care about nation. They see nation.
You don't think so?
I'm not saying all, but I'm saying the ones who power-hungry, they care about themselves.
Yeah, of course.
They don't care about. If they really would care about their nations, prosperity, etc., they wouldn't do so many things that they actually do. Take Putin. He put Russia I'm not just saying how many people he killed in Ukraine. He also killed so many people from Russia.
Yeah.
Everyone is suffering because of him. You know, he uses propaganda well, etc. But people are suffering. You know, do you think he's doing it for the nation? I don't think so. He's
You
just
don't think so?
he has idea just to grab power. He has idea to become a Tsar, to emperor. He has that ambition, personal. It's like Hitler. What, you think he really cared about the German people? I don't think so. I think he just used that people as an instrument for his own personal idea, like drug people, or like some some psycho people who they have something. That's it, and whatever they see is just a tool to achieve that. That's what it is. I think. I don't think they really care about their nation. That is unfortunate that kind of psycho people came to the power and they did a lot of things. The same with like in China, Mao, because of him, so many people, a cultural revolution. There are a lot of 40 million people starved to death and died. You think he did it for his nation? I don't think so. He did it for himself.
There was a lot of things about the Mao. There was a lot of things. For example, famines. Like they were trying new stuff to make more like the fertile. It was like a lot of accidents, a lot of things.
But that's stupid.
I don't think it was like, what do you call it? It was his intention, but like that's the action. It's the what do you call it? After reaction or whatever. That basically it's the result of his action. It's not his intention, but it's the aftermath. That was his thing.
I was just listening that historian who was talking about earlier. He was saying that Mao, he wanted outperform Soviet Union in terms of communism, so he chose very ambitious, stupid ideas. So that one of them was a cultural revolution, another that bring famine, etc. It was just his own ambition.
One of them was like cast iron. People
stupid.
would bring cast iron.
It's
stupid,
so
bad.
It's very stupid. So he really didn't care about nation. If he would care, he would. I would say probably give it to some scientists and talk to them. Get their feedback, because he's an agrarian guy. He doesn't know shit. He just came with some stupid idea. That's it. If he really will care about people, he would do different. You would give to some professional people from agrarian. Is it good? Is it possible? Is it can we do that?
The thing he did is it was a test. It was a theory. That thing was a theory. It was you put 6 feet. You put the seed 6 feet on the ground, and you water it,
stupid.
and then it's supposed to give more things. It was
stupid. It's stupid. There is, I think, Confucius. He said, the idea with the knowledge is dangerous, and knowledge without idea is dangerous too. When you have just some crazy idea, it might be very, very dangerous. Like Hitler had crazy idea about Aryan race. Mao had crazy shit idea. Stalin had crazy idea. That kind of just idea, if it's not practical, it could be very, very dangerous. It hurt people.
You said about Russian war stuff. The famous quote about from Stalin. One is tragic, two is sad, and then millions is just statistics.
They don't care. You see, I'm saying this kind of people, they don't care about people. It's just they have their own ambitions, their own ideas, their whatever they dreamed, thought about it. That's it, and they putting everyone under pressure just to achieve that stupid idea. And you're not going to achieve it.
But let's say, hypothetically, if you were in their position, would you do stuff different? Because it's very hard to say as we're just outsiders or watching. But what if we're in their shoes? Would we do something different? That's my question.
It will be a little bit weird to say me if I will be on their position, etc. Because just it's easy for you to say I would do this. You never know. But at the same time, if you will see some other leaders like Theodore Roosevelt, in America, he didn't put any cultural revolution. He didn't starve. He didn't do any famine, for example. Maybe Churchill, he didn't do also in England any famines. So it's there are. I could understand maybe if it will be medieval era, when it's really tough times and everyone is tough, everyone is crazy and crazy sick people on the power everywhere. So it's kind of that century. But 20th century, I think, is people more educated, suppose, than medieval people, their books, etc., etc. So they shouldn't be in the power and they shouldn't do all that shit, in my opinion. No, the same like on 21st century. I mean, Putin doing it, like, can't believe that people do that kind of stupid, crazy idea. Like, we have to conquer, we have to build empire, whatever.
I thought the same
that's
thing.
stupid. That's stupid, man. I mean, it's 21st century.
It is.
If it will be medieval era, it's okay. Everyone is sick. Everyone on the power is sick, and they have their own dreams. That's okay, in that era. But this 21st century, it's a different time. You gotta calm down, man. With your
I had a similar idea of like about being peaceful. But like last couple of years showed us like the reality. It's like it doesn't matter about the time period. It's just the people. Like if the people are like they want to achieve anything.
Sick people. That's what I think. It's sick people. There are different. Let's say like if you yourself are a chief of some business and you have some really good peaceful idea, not like I don't know, like Putin, like get all the countries back, whatever, but something peaceful. I don't know, maybe you want to do clean water in Africa and you put all your and you like dreaming about it and you're working hard. That's something good, good idea. And if it's scientifically proven or at least it's very close to that, then I think it's good. But something like stupid idea and the millions of people will be harmed just because you think it will work. That's not right, That's stupid. People will, suffer because of your ideas. It's not good. So that is reason, Unfortunately, in Central Asia, we have dictatorship. The people on the top, I don't think they're tough people. They don't care about people. That's what I think.
Is it possible we could skip over that part? Because I don't want to go there and be like, yo, get in the car. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, they're not gonna. You're here. Yeah.
I'm here, but I might go back,
Yeah, yes, but that's sad that our people.
We can talk after the cameras, but like cameras. I could tell you a lot of stories,
But that's I think one of the thing is people should, in my opinion, talk openly.
Yeah, of course. But
otherwise, if we will not put some, effort, nothing will change. Because if you will think who's our ruler. The rulers came from us, It's from our people, They're not aliens. They didn't come from other planets, So in order to change, people have to change this too. It's very from us too. It's from both sides,
I don't think people are gonna change. I mean, people are the ones who keep voting for the same person over. I mean, other people are running. They're like, oh, this guy's a bum. Look at him, how he dresses. It's very hard to,
Yeah, it's hard, but it's possible, That's what I think. A lot of things.
Yeah,
Nothing is perfect, but I think people should do the same with their lives, You got to put something. You can't just change if you just think that you will change. You have to put something, effort on it.
Yeah, of course.
So I guess that is the reason we're here, right?
Yeah.
Not back in our countries, It's a little sad. We shouldn't be here, Like ideally, we should be back in our.
Yeah, we should be back. It's just no opportunities there.
Yeah, that's
lack of opportunities.
Exactly.
I mean, but Kazakhstan's doing very well though.
No, same shit, man. Dictatorship, corruption, also all that.
I mean, I don't mind the corruption. I like corruption.
Full ideas, and etc. It's all BS. So unfortunately,
I mean, GDP-wise, Kazakhstan is doing better than all the Central Asian countries.
I think it all doesn't matter,
You don't think it matters?
I don't think it's much matter. The people on the top, they steal, they sell country to different nations. There is, it's not good. So
I mean, Kazakhstan has one of the most richest resource countries.
It doesn't matter if your country is rich, if people don't see it, but there are a lot of things, it's also should come from people. People should demand, people be, more tough with the government. They see government as a player.
I know who's tough. I know Kyrgyz people are the most tough.
That's good. You have to demand, it's your workers. It's like,
every 2 years revolution.
Imagine I'm your worker, you're paying me salary, and I'm dictating you how you should live life. That would be stupid, right?
Yeah, no.
You hired me. I gotta serve you. I gotta bring you coffee. I'm like, how are you doing, boss, etc. But it's government. It's,
I mean, the best part about there is, I guess, no taxes. Like taxes are super low.
There are some taxes, but there are also, if you start growing your business, people from government can just take over. You can't do anything. So you say something, you disagree with something, jail, or
Oh
that's,
yeah,
that's how you,
there's a couple
yeah.
videos of guys like they're just
Yeah.
complaining about gas station. They're
Exactly.
like, and then
It's not
they're
right.
they're they're in a jail right now.
Exactly. That's not right. That's what I see if the government, the person on the top, if that person first has some moral rights, have some moral values and more philosophical, and see this life as, that's, you have to help to people, nature. You shouldn't focus on power and money and fame. You shouldn't do that. It will
Yeah,
be gone.
I 100% agree, but like it's very hard.
Yeah.
When you're on that top, it's very too hard to dictate what you're gonna do. That's the thing, because you have you're responsible for millions of people.
Yeah.
It's very hard to
I
say
think-
how you're gonna be.
I think if you have power to kill that millions with your stupid ideas, and bring your, secret police service, make everyone silent, millions of people. If you have that power, it means you have another power also to change in a better way the society. You have the same power, hurt them, and you have the same power and opportunity to lift them up.
I think it's easier to hurt people than not hurt people. For example, right now Trump, he's deporting a lot of people. He could just take people, but how can he make people's life better? That's very hard to answer that.
Yeah, but I think if you have that kind of power to hurt them hard, I think you also have a power to lift them up. It's not easy, it's more long term to lift them up, but you still have that power, So I think it's your choice.
Yeah.
It's your choice as a ruler, The same thing, you will have tomorrow children. You may be good to them as a father, or you might be bad as a father. It's your choice.
Yeah.
And you can just take advantage whatever you want.
But sometimes short-term payment is better for long-term. Sometimes is for example, there's a short-term pain, and then people are gonna be like, oh, this guy's very bad. This guy's very bad. This guy's very bad. But later after a couple of years, and it's very successful that program.
For example,
I guess Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, his stance on, I'm not sure if I should talk about this stuff. Israel, David Accord and everything else, If Jimmy Carter, kept the plan straight without Reagan, interfering and stuff, right now there'll be much more peace than what's happening right now.
I think it's Carter. Is it the guy who affected for the China's, growth? That he was saying that U.S. should invest in China, etc., and it will become more liberal, etc. I think it was this guy. So
he was a corn farmer.
Yeah, so it's it's hard. I don't know much about them in details. Sometimes politicians, they say one thing, but they don't do that. They just get you.
He was,
so it's hard,
If you look at the characters of every president, he had the best character. It's personal opinion of mine, but when the gas prices went up because of OPEC was fighting back against other stuff, he was like, oh, we should save gas, and the people did not like that. They were like, no, you gotta get out.
No, this kind of, let's say, this kind of things, it's actually good, and but when you say the short-term suffering, but it shouldn't be like, oh, let's do like Mao, short term, let's just kill all. When Cultural Revolution happened, one of his fear actually was that because he was getting older and he was afraid that he will be replaced by some maybe groups within his community or his Communist Party. So then he came up with this idea, Cultural Revolution. So kill people like professors who's wise, smart, they see that something is wrong. So he just killed them using the young people in a Cultural Revolution. He killed he basically made people very stupid because they killed their own journalists, poets, doctors, etc. All, very educated, very smart. So, and this how I guess he showed to his Communist Party that he's strong, he's on the power, don't think I'm getting older, I still can kill anyone, whoever I want, He eradicated very
intellectual.
Yeah, very intellectual. He just killed them. It shouldn't. If it's like this short-term pain, that it's really stupid. It's really bad. It's not right, and it will hurt you also for long-term, for sure. Yeah, should be like this. If it's just saving on a gas or whatever, if you have a plan and you have really calculated everything, then it's fine, you know, and people are not dying because of your action, like in millions, then it's fine. Yeah, it's okay.
I agree. I don't know if you know this TV show, Three Body Problems.
Nope.
It's a more fantastical story, but there's like a story about like, you know, Mao and his Cultural Revolution. So what he called, this girl was like, you know, beating up people. She was one of the student, what do you call those? And the professor that she was about to beat up was her own father, and she beats up her own father. It was like, yo, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's cultural revolution, you know, that's what I'm saying. If it's sick people will come on the power with their sick idea, everyone will get hurt except of them.
All right, let's start finishing up.
Sure, let's do it, my man. Sorry, I keep talking, you know.
No, it's all right. I would love to talk, but I was just wanted to check if, like, you know, the thing. So, nice to meet you, Gani. And do you have any Kazakh things you want to say in the camera? Like
today is Nowruz, man. You know, happy Nowruz.
Of course. How you say? You say Nowruz Mubarak.
Nowruz kutlu bolsun.
Nowruz bolsun.
Kutlu bolsun. Kutlu bolsun. Yeah. So I'm very happy. You know, I like Uzbek people. Very nice, very warming people. I think we should, as a people, probably take initiative, stance. You know, we have to fight for our freedom, you know, in our countries if we want to do a lot of changes. First responsibility come from us. We shouldn't look to some powers outside, wait that something will change or come from God. I every time say, you know, some of my family members, they say, God will give you. I every time say to myself, God already give you life and the rest is on you. You shouldn't just expect that God will give you everything, car, I don't know, better life. Better opportunities, you gotta make it. You know, God already give you yourself. That's it. Rest you gotta do. So just I wanna say everyone, God already give our life, and we have to make this world, our society, community better, and be just good human being. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, brother.